Hello everyone, and congratulations for finishing the Year 12 VCE 2021 economics exam. Welcome. Clearly, if you're here, you want to know the answers to the multiple choice questions. I just got the exam literally 10 minutes ago. I just went through, worked out all the answers to the multiple choice question. Overall, I think this exam is great. It's relatively easy. A lot of the things we talked about this year are on this exam, to the point where in Common Access Resources, they asked about fish. What's going on there? That's amazing. But we're going to go through the questions one by one, just to say what I think is the correct answer. I'm pretty confident in all of my answers with this, other than one's a little bit iffy, but I think that all my answers are right, and we can discuss it anyway. So if you disagree, hit me up in the comments below. But let's get straight into it. So question one, two indicators of an expansionary budgetary policy. Well, straight away, we can rule out two answers here, because we know if they say interest rates, they are not the correct answer. So we can rule out C and D straight away. So in this expansionary monetary policy, what are they doing? They want to stimulate the economy. Lower tax rates and increased government spending is the only way that can happen. Which of the following is likely to be the most likely effect on the fruit market of a shortage of fruit pickers during a harvesting period? A shortage of fruit pickers, that's a shortage of labor, so that's going to be unfavorable for supply. So if there is unfavorable supply, what's going to happen? Well, we've got our supply-demand diagram. Supply goes this way. We have less quantity and a higher price. So where is that at? We have, well, a decrease in supply to the market and higher prices. A must be the answer. So we've got A first up, two answers. Which of the following is not likely to contribute to a rise in house prices? So the lowering of interest rates, more demand for housing, going to be increasing. Easing restrictions on lending, more borrowing, more demand for housing, increased prices. Government spending on new public housing, more supply of housing, lower prices. That's sounding good. Removal of border restrictions, allowing more immigration, that's going to create more demand, increasing house prices. So C is the answer there. So we've got A, C. Hopefully you're smashing it so far, 3 for 3. Nailed it. Then we've got what I think is the trickiest one, because VCAA threw some nasty math at you for a little bit. First up, so consider the following data for the CPI, the number of quarters in a hypothetical economy. The inflation rate for the year ended June 2021 is. So first up, we ignore all this data in the middle, just let it distract you. Luckily, they've asked questions like this before. So we've got year 2 minus year 1 over year 1 times 100. So we've got 112 minus 110 over 110, ends up being 2 over 110. You get to that, it's like, what the hell is that? Hopefully you know 2 over 100 is 2%. So 2 over 110 must be slightly less than 10%, 2%. So we end up with 1.8% as the figure for that. I did the math on my phone. I cheated. I used a calculator. It's correct. 1.8%. Then the opportunity cost of building a new road network. So opportunity cost being the spending foregone or the production foregone. So only one of these options offers something that's being given up. So increased noise pollution isn't something given up. So we can rule that out. A reduction in public transport usage, once again, not what you're giving up. The inability to adequately fund education, that is some spending you're giving up. That's production foregone. Road levy, no. So C is the answer for the opportunity cost question. The removal of a 5% tariff on imported cars would result in a shift of who is buying imported cars? Well, that is going to be consumers, because we are the ones demanding them. So it's going to be demand side. So overall, a reduction in a tariff, we're going to have a favorable shift in demand. So it's going to end up being shift to D1, which is going to mean that demand curve shifts to the right and there's an increase in the equilibrium price, because as you can see, we move over here, that drives up the price, we get to that point. Question 7, expansionary monetary policy is most likely to be maintained. This is just asking what the RBA's goals are. So if the rate of inflation is below the RBA's target rate, well, that's what the RBA is usually fighting inflation first. So therefore, they are going to do that if the rate of inflation is below the target rate. Then, question 8. Which of the following policies is not considered an aggregate supply side policy? Reduction in interest rates, straight away, that's monetary policy. Easy as, we can ignore the rest. Which of the following is not a likely effect of trade liberalization? So we've got a decrease in structural unemployment in the short term. Well, we know trade liberalization causes structural unemployment, so we can leave that one for now. Incentive for domestic firms to achieve greater efficiency, it's going to do that, so that's definitely going to happen. Long-term improvement in material living standards should happen. A reduction in costs for firms that use imports in the production process, that should happen because imports are going to be cheaper. So A decrease in structural unemployment, because it's likely to actually increase structural unemployment. So that's all sorted there. Which of the following goods is not likely to be considered a public good? So a public good is non-rivalrous and non-excludable. So it means that if one person uses it, it doesn't take it away from someone else, and non-excludable, meaning that you can't stop someone from using it. So street lighting, if someone uses it, you can still use it. Healthcare services, if someone else uses it, you can still use it. Free-to-air broadcast, if someone uses it, you can still use it. Fireworks display, if someone uses that, that's gone. So it ends up being A, Once that's used, it's gone. Can't use it anymore. Which one of the following is not a role of the RBA? They do not adjust tax rates, so straight away we're going with A and ignoring the rest. Another tricky one, VCAA trying to get you to do a little bit more complicated math this year. So we've got the following hypothetical economy: employed persons, unemployed persons, persons not in the labour force but of working age 15 years and older. What they're expecting you to do is add these together to get the population, because we want to work out the labour force participation rate, which is the employed plus unemployed people over the population over 15. So we end up getting 11 plus 1 over 20, because that's all of them added together. That's 12 over 20. If we break that down, that's 6 over 10. That's 60%. C ends up being your answer. The reduction in the cash rate is most likely to what? So when we reduce the cash rate, it's going to decrease the value of the Australian dollar as foreign investors remove their investments from Australian banks in search of greater return elsewhere. So we can rule out A and D straight away. And then also a reduction in the cash rate aims to stimulate the economy and stimulate aggregate demand. So it's not going to increase the unemployment rate because it's going to hopefully make unemployment lower. So we rule it out, we get to B, where it's going to decrease the value of the Australian dollar and give us a higher inflation rate. 2 to go. Let's do this. So then we've got a diagram showing the market for alcohol. A successful advertising campaign designed to inform the public of the dangers of excessive alcohol consumption would result in a change to equilibrium from what? So there's going to be successful negative advertising, really. So that's going to be an unfavorable shift in demand. Therefore, we are moving from the original equilibrium point of A over to the point of B. That ends up being D, A to B. Easy as. Now, moving on to the final multiple choice question. Doing this in under 7 minutes so far. We are smashing it. This is the most obtuse question I've ever seen. Which of the following would most likely have a vertical supply curve? Hopefully you drew this and you've done a supply curve straight up, which just means that no matter how much the price increases, quantity can't increase. So apples, they can always supply more, so we can rule out. Haircuts, they can supply more. Streaming services have a horizontal supply curve because no matter how much the price goes up, they can just supply infinitely more. Paintings by a dead artist who is now dead. That artist is dead. He can't paint anymore, or she can't paint anymore. It's 2021. Artists can be whatever gender they want to be. They could be no gender. So I should not say those things first. Painting by an artist, it could be any gender. They're dead. They can't supply anymore. Therefore, it is them. Vertical supply curve. Price can keep going up. You can't supply more. There's only a finite amount of paintings. And that is it for the multiple choice. We have done them all. Hopefully you got 15 out of 15 or close and you're feeling great. If you want to hang around, over the next couple of days, I'm going to try and smash out all of the short answer, give my recommendations of what I think the answers should be. If this was helpful to you, let me know. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Thank you for hanging out, watching all these videos throughout the year. The thing you can do that would help me the most is if you know year 11 studying economics next year, get them to subscribe to this channel, get them to watch the videos, because it is amazing to know that economics is probably getting easier for people because they are being helped by these videos, which is amazing to see just the spread that it's got. Just in the last 48 hours, there have been over 5,000 views of these videos, which is incredible to me when I originally started making them to try and get my class to learn things during remote learning. On that, I hope you feel great about the exam and that you are getting some much needed rest now. Do something fun, reward yourself. And I will hopefully see you for the question breakdowns, unless you're done with economics, in which case, see you never. Bye.